Okay, first order of business is the minutes from our previous meeting of 8/14/24. They've been distributed electronically. Are there any comments, questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Matt,
Second.
second by Tony. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same sign. Carried. Okay, the next order of business is a Daviess County Hospital Board appointment. This appointment is for Otto Susi. It's recommended by the hospital board.
I don't know much about, because this replaces Dr. Lahano, correct?
I believe that's correct.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Tony. Is there a second? Second by Marilyn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next item is the Bennington Levy, I think, appointment. And we have Mike Sprinkle. This would take us from July 1st of 2024 to June 30th of 2027.
Move to approve.
Moved by Mike Myers. Is there a second? Second by Matt Meredith. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Mike Sprinkle abstained. Congratulations, Mike. Appreciate your help there. Okay. How about let's talk about the voting machine moving contract.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So as you know, we have new machines that are much, much bigger and weigh 55 pounds each, so we had to figure out a way to get them to the locations and get them back versus me putting them in the back of a vehicle. That was just not going to happen this time. So I got different quotes from different places. Nathan and I worked on it together. Scott Schneer helped me try to find some quotes. We looked at U-Haul options, and I talked to Ride Solutions. They didn't have enough staff to do it. We looked at everything we could come up with, and really Tom's Moving was the only thing that was going to be efficient.
Has anyone had the opportunity to go down and look at the new voting machines? I would suggest you do that. It's very impactful. They are heavy. They probably weigh over 50 pounds.
55 is what I was told. I haven't weighed them, but they're
And we have how many, Lauren?
62.
This number seems like a high number. I mean, Lauren and I have talked a lot about it, about other options. We got a lot of extra trips this year due to the courthouse renovation project that we won't have in the future. So
Right.
more or less a one-time for this amount anyhow. One time.
Right. And if you have a copy of the contract, I mean, it shows you like the date and how many locations we have and how many machines go to each location. So, I mean, they're just too big to put in a vehicle, and you might be able to fit 2 or 3 in if you had a larger, like a Yukon or something, but that's about it. So it's a lot.
I've used Tom's Moving personally on 3 or 4 occasions over the years. He's really good. Knows what he's doing. Got good
Well,
people.
good. We need
But
somebody we can depend on. For
I
sure.
did ask
Absolutely.
him if there's like one of their trucks gets damaged or somebody gets sick, and they said they have 3 trucks, 3 full-time people, so that they know they can get everything covered.
Okay, any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Matt Meredith,
Second.
second by Mike Myers. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Morning, Steve.
Chief Deputy Sturgis,
Good morning.
talk to us about emergency communications.
So an update on the radio project. Last time I came before you, we needed approximately $42,300 to fully fund the project. Today, we're down to just under $26,000. There was some equipment added to both sides, the infrastructure and the radios. There was some confusion over whether a repeater and all of the equipment that goes with that was for the city, if that was part of the original infrastructure quote or not. We learned that it was not. The city had a request. That total project was going to be about $20,200. They had a request of $13,500 of that could be added to the infrastructure, and they would cover the rest. On the radio side, a few of us met with Greg Clark, the Madison Fire Chief. I also met with Mike Birch, the Madison Township trustee. They agreed to purchase all of the portable radios at Madison. We agreed to purchase 2 mobile units. The radios went up just a little bit by $2,700. However, Scott and I, we sat down with Mike Dyer and went through the initial infrastructure proposal line by line, seeing if there's anything that could be eliminated without degrading the system. We found about $30,000 worth of stuff that could be saved. Countywide paging, that's $20,000. That was agreed that could be put on at another time down the road. At the 4th tower site, it called for a shed to be placed there to house the radio equipment. We talked with Aaron Andrews of Rural Water, and he agreed to allow us to use their existing shed that's there. So we figured that saved probably $10,000. So with the 30,000 savings, that would cover the 13.5 on the infrastructure. Then I would ask that the other 16.5, if that could just be applied to the radios. We get down from 42 to the 26,000. The equipment is in. Mike and his team probably will start working and installing on that within the next few weeks here. GPC, I've not heard from GPC yet, if they're going to be able to contribute anything to the project. Steve Ford with the Odin Fire Chief, he's applied for a grant, and if he's awarded that, he's going to contribute all of that to the project, but he won't know anything until November. I had submitted some notes. Happy to answer whatever questions anyone has. All in all, I think the project is starting to move forward now. Mike wants to have it completed before the end of the year, before the weather gets cold.
Steve, we appreciate your leadership on the project, and Scott.
And I would just say thank you to each of you. You know, you guys, there was many meetings had over this. You committed resources to it. You heard it through, all while managing another project across the street. So I think at the end, we're going to have a county-wide radio system that all first responders can use. So I think it clearly demonstrates each of your commitments to public safety as well. Thank you. Yes?
Everything's all in, all the equipment now?
Yeah, there may still be a few pieces he's waiting on, but for the most part, it's all in.
Steve, yesterday at the commissioners meeting, Chris with the highway department mentioned something about their radio system, which hasn't worked in a year. And I don't know if it can be used, if their radios could be used with the same tower system or not. Do we know anything? I mean, that's the first time I've even heard about it yesterday.
So they're capable to operate on this system. I think the issue was maybe carving out another frequency for them and freeing up another one for us that we could use, like, for us, I don't know, just having another channel available.
Okay.
Yes, initially they are on the current repeater system. They are testing right now, putting a repeater at their site, using their old tower, their old equipment, but using the digital frequency. Yeah. And they're quite happy with how it's working, and that would free up another channel to be used for emergency communications instead of county highway. So it's just a work in progress to see if they're satisfied with it before we move on, but they are currently on the new system.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Nathan signed the contract, so it can come out of the commissioner's budget. Yeah. I would think that would make sense.
We need to vote on that, or is it okay? Okay. All right. Thank you, Matt. Okay, we have salary ordinance amendments. How about Kelly with the Health Department?
Morning, counselors.
Morning.
I believe the first on your docket is the remaining funds in a grant that we had for childhood blood level risk assessments and case management. This will close out the grant to pay the risk assessor.
Okay.
Are completed.
the one on the immigration clinic?
This is what I came before you last month, and as per the advisement of the auditor, I advertised it in the wrong account, so this is a correction. And then her advisement was, instead of coming back monthly to appropriate the funds we take in, to estimate what we'll do the rest of the year and go ahead and advertise for that. So I have to do monthly. And we anticipate approximately 24 patients a month in the clinic. So that is what that is.
So really 51-1, are they both, those two are the same?
They are. 9,100 was what was appropriated in the wrong account last month, and then the 42 will be anticipated for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And then the associated benefits. That should be all.
Yep. Any questions for Kelly on?
Would move to approve these.
Moved by Mike Sprinkle. Second by Darren Holder. That's for the Health Department salary ordinances totaling $53,668.33. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried 7-0. Thank you, Kelly. Got a request, salary ordinance amendment from the clerk's perpetuation fund. It's extra clerical for scanning. I don't know if anyone's had, well, if you haven't seen the voting machines, you probably haven't seen the new filing system downstairs. When you're down there looking at the voting machines, take time to look at that. It is truly amazing. We got our money's worth out of that. I don't think there's any doubt. And it's downstairs in the basement here. This request is for $10,000.
Motion approved.
Moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Marilyn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried 7-0. Okay, request from Superior Court. Judge Murray?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a request to, let me be clear, this is not taxpayer money. This is money that is collected as a part of closing cases like fines and fees, and it goes to the pauper attorney fee fund. We are running a little low, as we always do about this time of year, so we're just asking a transfer from that fund into our pauper attorney fee fund to close out the rest of the year. Go ahead,
Let's talk about the salary ordinance one first there. I think it's a transfer of an associate from between the courts.
that is the probation officer. So we had a probation officer that was on the circuit court payroll, and now that person is going to be on the Superior Court payroll. And because of her experience level, these are like state mandated levels of, I don't even get a choice. So I'm just asking for us to absorb that person. It's a net zero to the county. It just goes from one to the other. So in other
Between
words,
the two courts, you're saying?
in other words, I lost a probation officer with level 3 experience, and I'm gaining one with level 30. I have to pay the level 30, not the level 3. So it's just, and in the big scheme of things, I think it works out. Whether it's close to net zero for the county, I'm just adopting the person under my budget rather than the circuit court budget.
And the circuit court, they haven't hired that person yet, so we don't know.
They hired a person, but I think they're starting at, I don't want to speak to that because I'm not sure what their experience is. But I think it's lower than what the person
So it could be a wash or close to that
I
between.
think it's a wash or very close.
Okay.
But it's just, I need to formally ask for that person to be under my umbrella rather than circuit court umbrella.
I would move to approve this.
Moved by Mike Sprinkle. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Matt Meredith. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Carried 7-0. Now go ahead, Dan, and
So, yeah, the second part is the transfer, sorry, I just ahead of myself. The transfer of fees from our pauper attorney fee fund, which is a non-taxpayer, tax money to pay off, we're getting low in our account. And this is a soft spot for me. This is an area I'm trying to work on. And I've expressed that to a number of you but this is also a lagging indicator of where we are. So these are, in a way, I feel like I'm paying child support on kids that aren't mine. You know what I'm saying? Like these are appointments that were made already. I'm just trying to finish them out. I'm appreciative of the labor that we do get. It's very hard to find attorneys in Indiana, period, much less rural Indiana. So we've got to keep these people and we've got to keep them paid. And so I'm just asking for that transfer to continue our operation.
Okay, and the only other one down there you had was the pettit jury.
Pettit jurors, so let's talk about that for a minute. We've had a deluge of trials this year for a number of reasons that aren't worth getting into, but we've got to pay these people, $30 a day per trial, and I'm concerned. Like we just had a trial this week, didn't end up going all the way through for a number of reasons that I wasn't even the judge, but we got to pay that pool of 100 jurors or however many. That's $3,000 every time we do it. And in some cases, it's 120. And without getting into all the details, the demographics of Daviess County are pretty unique. Whenever I tell other judges we have to call 120 people to get 12, they think that's preposterous. It's not really here. There's been a few times we get very close to the end, where we almost run out of jurors, even if we call 120. But if you call 120, you got to pay for 120. There's just costs to jury trials. And for a number of years, I would try to keep it. When I was prosecutor, it'd be 3 or 4 a year. That was it because that was the load on the system. Now that I'm judge, a lot of things have changed. A lot of people are trying to get these old cases completed where I was the prosecutor, and there's a conflict. So there just seems to be a pressure here towards the end of the year. I know there's, off the top of my head, at least 2 or 3 going into the rest of the year, and this is just to get us through that. So I would like to represent to you. This is a not a very often type of ask. I hope that's the case going forward when most of the cases become. But some of them aren't because of the conflict that is created. If I filed it while I was prosecutor, I can't be judge unless they want me to be judge. 50-50 proposition. That's my ask. I think it's more than enough to get us through, but I just appreciate it.
All right. Any questions for Judge Murray?
Really appreciate work. I just wanted to thank Judge Murray for one thing. We have had an issue for some time about the number of people that have to be called to get to the pool. And I really appreciate Judge doing the work to get to the proper number, because we do have a unique population, and we've had several conversations about this, but I'm really glad that we are doing what we are now doing. That's all.
Yeah, and I'll put a real fine point on that. For years, if I'm in charge of the trial, for instance, which I'm not in all of these, a lot of these are special judges, so they can do it however they want. If I'm in charge of the trial and a person represents that they cannot be a juror because of their firmly held religious belief, I don't even call that person in. I mean, it's never going to happen. I am never going to, nor should I, attempt to convince this person to change their firmly held religious belief. For years, that was the case, and we would pay these people to come in just to turn around and go right back out the door. That is an inefficiency we don't need in the system. So I'm working on processes and systems to get jurors in the door to make it efficient for everybody. Because it's not even for, well, all right, Darren, you remember being a juror. I mean, it's a long process. It's a long, and it doesn't need to be that long. Whenever everybody who comes in the door should be eligible to sit for a jury. So that's one of the ways I plan on keeping that cost down. Thank you for bringing it up. I really wasn't going to talk about it, but I have a process in place for trimming that out, right? And that works better for everybody. It works better for the people who are called in because it takes less time. It works better for the community who's never going to serve, no matter what we say. Let them live their life. and not pester them with this. So that's kind of my position. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to
Thank you.
approve.
Let's go ahead and take the rest of the appropriations first, then
Yep.
we'll get into those. How's that?
Mhm.
We have one more on there, the reassessment, item F. It's a third-party contract for data collectors, total of $22,000 for the reassessment. Comments, questions? Would entertain a motion for approval.
So move.
Who is, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Mike,
Mike
Sprinkle.
Sprinkle, second by
I'll second.
Matt. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. All right, thank you. Okay, now we'll do additional appropriations. Tony, this is for the county general to Superior Pettit Drawers, $25,000.
Yes.
Motion by Tony. Is there a second? By Darren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried, 7-0. The next appropriation is Riverboat to 2024 co-participation in the land bank. This is through the SIDC. It's a membership, basically a membership fee, I guess, or
No, the land bank is what you guys, between the commissioners and you guys had agreed in within contract. The SIDC is housing like the subgroup of core people in the land bank, and they are going out and trying to get dilapidated properties back on tax rolls for multiple counties. And our participation was $5,000 annually to be a part of that process. I do sit on that board, and we have purchased our first property here in the city limits. So it is moving forward. It's
good things there.
good things are happening with
Yeah.
it, yes.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Matt Meredith. Is there a
Second.
second? Second, Mike Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same sign. Carried. This is the other request by Judge Murray, public defender, to the pauper attorney account. Their non-taxpayer funds, $250,000 is the request. Moved by Marilyn.
Second.
Second by Tony. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same sign. Carried 7-0. Okay, the next is CASA. When we did the budget last year, we significantly reduced the advertising and travel, mileage, and lodging, and this is actually grant money, is my understanding. So they would like to have that back to do some advertising for CASA in the amount of $4,500.
Make a motion to approve.
Moved by Matt, second by Darren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same sign. Carried 7-0. Adult probation.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, how are you?
I'm doing well. I had 3 additional appropriation requests. One was for bulletproof vest. We have, as Judge Murray was saying, we have 2 new officers who have no vest, and then all of the rest of them we have are outdated. I think we got them like 10 years ago. And I was kind of looking at prices, and I think the average price for a decent vest is between $600 and $700. And we have 6 officers, 4 adult and 2 juveniles. So I just wanted to have enough to invest and get us some new vests. We do home visits. We go out with the police occasionally, not juvenile more so than adults, but we do wear those when we go on the home visits.
Is there a typical life expectancy of those things, or?
I think it's like 5 years, isn't it?
Okay.
The warranty for 5 years.
Yeah.
They'll last a long time, but the company will stay behind. That's why you.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other one was for the drug screens. I've asked for $3,000 appropriation. They charge us $30 a screen, the company does. We get them 100 at a time. Due to the efficiency of Superior Court, we have gotten a lot more probation Yes.
We get some today.
All right, thank you. So we have been our drug screens have increased, obviously. I think we've gotten, since the first of the year, we've gotten 200 more probationers. That we go through those pretty quickly. So I expect we may be needing to order another 100 before the year is up. And then the last one was the conference registration and lodging. We have two main we have to have 12 continuing education hours a year. We have two main conferences that we go to, one from the state in the spring, and then Popeye conferences, that's a probation organization, puts on one in the fall, and that's where we get most of our hours of training. But we have had a couple of additional conferences that people have gone to, so that's kind of why we're running short. One was a sex offender. I think someone went to a sex offender training for a couple of days. As long as we have the money, we allow them to have their own room. They don't have to share a room with somebody. So I think we're right at the end, because we're going to start getting the bills for the Popeye conference. They just got back from the Popeye conference. I think the $2,000 should, or that's what we have now. It's going to cost more than $2,000, but that's all we have left in there. So. And there may be another additional conference that they want to attend before the end of the year. So I think that covers it.
Any questions?
Make that motion.
Motion by Tony. Is there a second? Second by Mike. Sprinkle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Carried, 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the vest is guaranteed 5 years, but it lasts longer. The only one way to find out if it's not working?
Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna bring Councilman Sprinkle out and show him.
If you want to be a volunteer. Mine's at that 5-year point.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
As long as you're standing beside me with another one on that's 5 years old.
Good shot.
Yeah, because we'd have to test one that's under warranty too, wouldn't we? Have one of each, and test at the same time.
Okay.
Dan.
The next item is the Childhood Blood Lead Level Grant to Wages, Perf, and Social Security and Medicare at $3,164.92, which Kelly just presented to us.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mike Myers, second. Second by Darren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. 7-0. Health Department to Immigration Clinic Provider, Social Security, Medicare, and PERF, $51,802.
Make a motion.
Motion by Matt,
Second.
second by Tony. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. 7-0. Okay, the next request is the restricted opioid fund to prevention and education in the amount, excuse me, of $17,532.48.
That's the IRACs and JRAC stuff. That's it. I make a motion to approve that.
Approved by Matt Meredith. Is there a second? Second by Marilyn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, same sign. Carried 7-0. Okay, and this is unrestricted opioid fund to repair and maintenance.
Make that motion.
Moved by Tony, second by Mike Sprinkle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Oh, kind of late in there. 7-0. Okay, now we have some transfers from Immigration Clinic to Immigration Clinic Provider. That's the $9,100 we talked about earlier.
So moved.
Moved by Matt,
Second.
second by Mike Sprinkle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 7-0. Then we have the reassessment fund to data collectors, Social Security and Medicare also. Total amount of $16,000.
Move to approve.
By Darren.
Second.
By Darren. Second by Mike Myers. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Carried 7-0. That's quite a bit of business there. Other information in your packet, we have the Daviess Martin Joint County Park minutes, Daviess County Airport minutes. Anything new there, Matt, that you want to comment on?
Not at this time. They're making some headway on, we built that hangar, but they're doing the taxiway extension, and hopefully they'll start that at in the next year. So when we're coming out of it, that's available. So they're making progress on that. They'll have a meeting tomorrow if anybody wants to be there tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you. And we have Daviess Hospital Finance Committee report. I did attend the commissioners meeting yesterday, just to kind of update you guys on some items going on. Talked a little bit about Iraq and the opioid fund. There's $85,000 in there, and maybe Judge Murray could, if I mess this up, he could correct me on that. And we need to use that money to get matching funds for future
You may talk about this
years.
real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
No, I was wrong too. There's actually more money in there than that.
Okay.
But I don't want to misstate it again. So for this program to work, we found out in July that we needed to come up with a 30% match or something, and I was like, that's not easy. You can't just find $100,000 laying on the ground. So our request was to use the opioid settlement money, because that's what other counties have done. This is not a long-term solution. This is a stopgap to keep this going based on a semi-emergency. You know, you can't say, I need $100,000 in 30 days without notice, without any understanding of how government works. So this is our ask. Now, what the commissioner said was, they approve it in principle, it needs to go to and we were just talking, there's too many racks in this. There's JRAC and IRAC and all this, but it needs to go to the next level committee, which is JRAC, for the formal approval down to IRAC. But as a matter of transparency, money like this should be cleared through the council. So we just want you to have visibility to that transfer. It's about $100,000. So that's close to right, Laura? I mean, like yesterday, she's like, it's 107,000. So like I said, in the ballpark, but that's the process we're going through just to get us into 2025. I think some exciting things happen in 2025 on this that will make it easier, but I don't want to get into that. I'm just optimistic, so I'll leave it right there.
Thank you, Judge Murray. There was a courthouse update, roof inspection, had some minor cracks. I don't think it was anything serious, but they brought a third party in from, engineer from Evansville to do the final inspection. That was supposed to be yesterday. I haven't heard anything on that. But the new roof did cause some issues with drainage up there, because it's gonna be a different pitch, and there's gonna be an $18,000 expense there to put drain holes so it goes down the gutter system instead of just flat off the roof. So that was additional $18,000.
Can I say something about this real quick?
Yeah. Well, you might as well just get up there.
I just want to, I feel like, hey. So, all this courthouse, the whole time the courthouse was being planned, I was going to be the prosecutor, right? And I just was like, no new money for the prosecutor's office. Remember that? Remember that line? Okay. I'm saying the same thing for whatever courtroom. If it comes up and you can cut something, do it. For me. Don't even include me. Like, I appreciate so much the position that the county is in, and I appreciate like being over in the jail has been like the best experience for me, because I don't know if this is like psychology, that like I look around at rooms all the time like, this looks wonderful, So I am here to say that don't ask me, Don't consult me. Quite frankly, I don't even think it's my decision. I think it's a commissioner council decision when it comes to building, but I don't care what you cut at all. Totally on you. I feel like separation of powers is important. That's your power. That ain't mine, and I don't want it. So I just want to express some gratitude here in a sea of like constant complaining. So there you go. I just wanted you to know when you kept thinking about $18,000 for this or that, never make it a question for whatever courtroom you put me in. I appreciate it.
You can stand up there for the next hour if you're gonna do that.
I can convince other people. I'm just tired of it.
So sticking someone in a closet
Sure.
has advantages.
I think he's fell and hit his head at some point.
No.
Really hard.
We do, I think we still have about 200,000 in the contingency fund, so before we start ripping his redwood paneling out, I think we'll be all right. The county highway did open bids yesterday for asphalt bids. That was for a specific project, and I didn't write that down, but the burn ban is in effect for our county. I guess you guys probably heard that on the radio this morning, and it's will terminate when the commissioners decide that. It could be a weekly thing, or it could be at their discretion. It's at their discretion. The sheriff did talk a little bit about Social Security for inmates after they've been in there 30 days. Then the county will get some type of reimbursement on that, is my understanding. Is that true?
Right.
Okay.
For inmates that are receiving after 30 days, or to Social Security,
Okay.
because they're on the county.
The other thing they talked about was the COVID policy, and the commissioners, my understanding was they decided not to have a specific COVID policy, just let it fall under the normal handbook for the health department. That was it.
So on the Social Security thing, so was there something new there? What was the?
No, this is an incentive program that has been available, I guess, out there, but it's just now coming into Daviess County. And so they have taken the opportunity and they're jumping in on this. So it's money that'll come back into the county that they're gonna have to do reporting on to the Social Security Administration, and then it comes back into county general.
Okay, okay.
Paper road with it or.
Hey.
It's not gonna be a lot.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the council? How about from the public? Questions, concerns, issues? All right, then we'll just recess. We're going to recess the council meeting for 5 minutes, take a break, and then we'll come back and start our budget hearing process.